Nathan, that idea gives me an idea, and I think we need to try it. So this is 12 inches squared, 10 inches squared, 8 inches squared, and 6 inches squared. I am out of wood glue. Weird. Looks like I ran out of wood glue at the exact right moment. Oh my gosh, I think I made an accidental robot. The closer I'm getting, the more I'm wondering if I want to stop. I think if I go too far down, I might lose it. I think the proportions of it, I think it looks pretty good right now. I don't know if I want to lose any of the diameter. So this is going to be the platform that the mold will go on top of, but it needs to be the inverse so that the mold can be the actual thing. So one of the nice things about doing this on the lathe is we know that we've got a symmetrical object. I don't need to make a mold of 360 degrees. I can just make a mold of 180 of it. So what I'm using for silicone is this silicone paste. It's basically silicone that's been thickened, and its application is for architectural objects, things that usually stay on walls. So you can get a casting of them without having to remove it. And I think it should work pretty well for our application enough for this. You just want to get rid of the streaks of blue and the streaks of white until you get a nice consistent color. I can't tell if this is going to be enough or not, but we'll see. I want to just spread it on, I guess. It's not unlike cake decorating. It's the forbidden frosting. And I didn't even look to see what the working time was. And since I don't know, I'll pretend that I don't have to panic. You say to trust your instincts, but my instincts can be super bad sometimes. I don't know if it's a good idea to risk trusting them. I think it looks good. I guess we're done because we're all out of silicone. I'm about to put my respirator on, which means we won't be able to chit chat. So let me quickly lay out what the next steps are. While the silicone should be ready to come off, it has no structure, so it won't hold the object in the proper shape. So we're going to put resin and fiberglass over the outside. I've never done this before, but I believe that I understand the process. We're going to be mixing up some resin, and I'm going to be tearing and laying fiberglass patches into that resin. I basically want 2 to 3 layers of fiberglass completely coated in resin over the top of this silicone to make our mother mold. It's my mother mold, and I've never done this, so I have knowledge of what to do, but I don't have any experience. So I think I did what I was supposed to do, but we won't find out until it cures. And it's probably pretty obvious why we need the fiberglass and resin mother mold. There's a little bit of flex, but I don't know. I think it's going to be all right. You might remember back in August when we made the fortune cookie, and I said that the broken glass was from a door in Flyleaf's recording studio. So I actually got to chat with James, who is the drummer in the band, and he said it was from a 4-foot by 9-foot window that separated the control room from the live room, I think he said. So I've decided to do something extremely tedious, and I'm going to try to get them as close together as possible. All right, we're definitely going to have to figure out the rocking. So it took us about an hour to get to this point, 3/4 of the way done with half of the shade. It's getting pretty high on the sides here, and I'm worried about it doing an avalanche and then sort of cascading. But what I'm thinking is I'm going to mix up some resin and do a light coat on top of the glass that we have here. I tried my best to fill all the holes, but I mean, I don't know if it's realistic to believe that I could do that. You guys hear that? I had a piece just pull itself out. I'm wondering if it's maybe the foam brush that's causing that, so I grabbed more of a standard paintbrush here. You can see that the glass just keeps sticking to the brush. There we go, and with the mold on its side here, this is mostly level where it was poured before, and here's the section that needs to be glued together. And I should just be able to mix up a small amount of resin. And all I want is to basically adhere all these blocks together. It doesn't need to be a thick coating. This seems to be working where you just sort of blot it on. Again, it doesn't need, oh yeah, I just ripped out another one. It doesn't need a huge amount of resin. That's a hole right there. See if I've got a piece here that'll fit. This looks like a good fit. Down you go. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, let's see if any of that footage is actually usable. And once we're all done with the first one, we start the process all over again. If I had known what was involved in this process when I first saw this comment, I might not have been so enthusiastic about it. A couple things I've learned. having a nice base like this works really well to keep it from rocking. I'm going to pour resin in one section, let that cure, do another section, let that cure, do the last section, let that cure. I think that will be the easier method. Take this first one that I did and kind of try my best to line it up. It's hard to tell exactly, but somewhere around here is where it looks like they're going to meet up. I think I'm going to go right up here to this line, and if there's a tiny bit of wiggle room between the two, that actually would be a good thing. After this, I'm going to have to figure out how to join the two halves together. I honestly haven't really thought. Probably should spend some time thinking about that. Like this piece here fits into that piece there pretty well.
I see that.
And then this half, there's a pretty big gap over here.
Yeah, together too though.
Yeah, there's like almost no gap over here.
No, it's like one piece away. One width thick.
It's really close. Planned this out better. I probably should have given this some consideration before getting to this stage.
That's not how you roll.
An idea, I've got blue tape back here, and that's going to allow me to stick these pieces into place. I feel like it's pretty good actually. And I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. The joining of the two halves went well. It looks pretty seamless to me. This is the mold, so you can actually see the plywood from the mold. As I said earlier, I have knowledge but not experience. With experience, I would have known to do a better job of sanding and sealing the mold so that I wouldn't have these lines. While I'm happy with the amount of resin that's on the outside, I'm not happy with the way that it looks. So I'm going to start sanding it back, and then I'll add another coat of resin after that to get it a nice gloss finish. I think I'm getting close to the end on this one. This shouldn't exist. It was a pile of broken glass, and it is now its own object. I'm frankly surprised that it worked. Obviously, I cannot drop this, but it is not fragile in my hand. And I love the way that the glass plays off the light, and you get all these blues and purples and reds in here. And as you move it around and have it hit the light, it hits the edges of the broken glass, and it is actually more whole than it was. It actually shines. It is also speaking to me of tragedy, because it is possible to take something broken and in pieces and return it to something that has value. I think that is a hopeful thing to think. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I'm super happy with it. I tried things I've never tried before. It took me a while to get this all together, and honestly, I don't know if there's a better testament to the strength and versatility of the Total Boat resin that I used today. I definitely want to give a thank you to Total Boat for helping with this project. I fully intend to follow up this video with making a lamp that this will go on top of. If it is not the next video I make, then know that it will happen at some point in the future. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed making this and sharing this with you, and I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday wherever you are at. Gluing on broken glass.